that side. There they are. And it's currently, as they go into the wide hairpin, a little bit late on the brakes. Burridge and Smith battling it out for P3 right now. Burridge just manages to get it back after Smith running a little bit wide. And Burridge, under braking, pushes Skyring off the circuit by the looks of it there. Skyring is falling down the order, down into P6. 13 laps left to go. Pretty good rejoin there for Skyring. Or did Skyring outbrake himself? We'll have to take a look at the end of the race. But Burridge is waiting for Skyring, and Skyring goes back through. So clearly there was a bit of an issue, and Lettermy not quite getting on the brakes. Burridge is back to racing. Although he's around the outside, so Skyring's definitely going to get it here. But it looks like Spall is going to try and take full advantage of the slow-moving Fun Cup going around the final corner. Burridge and Skyring are back at it again, battling away. Butler leads the way by Smith by 1 second. Lloyd in P3, Sobek P4, Burridge P5, Skyring P6, Spall P7, Vermfitch P8, Pindalier P9. Trying to make their way through the field. Lettermy P10 and Coulson in P11. But the gap, realistically, is spread only about 5 seconds throughout the whole field. So it's a pretty close affair here at Croft Circuit. But we are only on lap 2. And Pindalier is moving up the grid. Moves into P8 and Vermfitch is falling down the grid. So must have just hit the tyres on the way through. Pindalier trying to go round the outside of Fabrice Lettermy. These two are always bantering in the Discord server about how neither of each other can drive. Well, let's find out for sure. And to be fair, Pindalier just about gets ahead of Fabrice Lettermy. Coming through, I think it's called Graham Bend, but I could be wrong there. And he's looking down. Oh no, sorry, Fabrice Lettermy was looking down the inside of Pindalier there, and Spall has a bit of a snap, but Fabrice Lettermy sees the gap and goes straight back through into P8. Great move there by Lettermy, and it's got the run on Spall. Spall is not aware that Fabrice is there on his rear right quarter panel, but luckily they both come away unscathed. But this gaggle of cars for the battle for P7 now, as Spall runs a bit wide, is certainly starting to heat up. We can see the front runners all starting to get the pace on a little bit. Butler's got a fast lap of the race of 141.9. So we come over the timeline for lap 3. Oh, we can see in the background Coulson and Vermfitch really trying to get the same sort of... Oh, and they both got off. You can see they're both battling. Oh, and Fabrice Lettermy's lost the rear end. And that's Pindalier through. You can see Vermfitch and Coulson battling for the same piece of tarmac. It's just never going to work. And sadly, they both ended up going off the circuit. Now, it could simply be under the brakes because, quite frankly, these cars do not like to stop that well. Not in AC, at least, anyway. So, Jay Skyring is still battling with Burridge, using as much of the track width as possible, trying to go round the outside. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Happy Monday. Welcome to round 3, season 3 of the P&R Ultimate Sim Racer. My name is Anders and I'll be your host for this evening. I hope you're all doing well. And as you can see in the background behind the P&R Ultimate Sim Racer little banner, you can see our table, and it's now to the right of me. Good evening. I hope you're all doing well. Welcome to Pretty Ninja Racing here on YouTube. Again, my name is Anders, and I'll be your host for this evening's... Wow, how should we describe it? Challenging escapade, shall we call it? So tonight, our Ultimate Sim Racers who have signed up through our Discord and is being hosted on the World Sim Series website are racing in Indy light cars around Detroit Belle Isle, famously known for its bumpiness, fast sweeping corners, tight corners, as well as you just got to be smooth and brave throughout the whole lap. They'll be doing 18 laps of said circuit. And if we take a very quick look, why do I not have standings on my Elgato? Such a rookie. And as we take a look at the standings, we can see that Butler's leading the way with 56 points after a win and 2 podiums after 2 events. Ollie Smith is in P2 with 48 and Pindalia is in P3, but Pindalia will not be racing this evening as they are out and about enjoying life and possibly crashing into trees whilst trying to ski down hills. Mr. Plough in P4, Jay Skyring, hopefully will be clearing the way tonight and getting a good result here at Bella Isle with 40 points. You can see that the top of the table is relatively close, but at the moment everyone is chasing Butler towards the finish line. And whilst I join the server, how about we do a quick recce lap of Bella Isle and just see what sort of fun our drivers are going to be in for tonight. So here we are at Bella Isle, we're at the starting line. Just doing a quick practice session. So let's pretend that we're doing a race start here. And away we go. Let's say it's lights out and off we pop. Into T1 we go. The racers will have to neatly shuffle through 1 and 2. Watching out for that bump into the Chevrolet barrier. Down to T3 we go. Heavy braking zone around about 300 meters. It's going to be a lot of carnage on that one. They're going to have to be careful. Down into second gear just to help get it rotated. Tyres are cold. Up to third through T4. Almost touching that wall there. And up into T5. Watching out not to use that curb. Just chucks out T6. It's onto a lovely back, long, sweeping kind of S-shaped straight. Sounds stupid, I know, but realistically, it makes sense once you see it. Into a hard, heavy braking zone. Watching out for the Penske Motorsport yellow badge right there. Barrier, sorry. Into the left-hander. Then a double left-hander, but you kind of want to watch out because this right-hander that's important. You want to really get tight, make sure you get that apex and be hugging the wall on exit without getting damage. 200 down to third, ideally, not second. Let off the power for the second to last corner. Back on we go. It's a bumpy, it's a tight, it's a very scary track. And I wouldn't be surprised if some of our ultimate sim racers will really struggle as we go for one more flying lap. Down to fourth we go, just to help keep the carts under control. There's the bump. Back on the power we go. Heading down to T3. This is going to be a major overtaking zone here. Really, hard on the brakes. If you're brave, you can ride the curb, help the cart get rotated. Up to third again. Dab on the brakes. You want to get closer to the wall than that, really. Carry a bit more speed. Through 4 we go. No, sorry, this is 6 now, isn't it? Sorry. Through 6. See the engine just getting a bit mad at me. So this is 7. This is 8. Up to 6 to go. Hard. Want to do third gear, watching out for that wall, a little bit too late on the brakes there. Into 10, and here is 11, here is 12, and I missed that apex by a mile, but this is the important one. Got that hug done, got close to the wall, no damage. Good clean exit, down into third, being brave, want to be near DHL, don't want to use it though. Oh, that was a bit sketchy, shouldn't have used that curb. And over the timer line we go for a 1:22.6. Now I know I can do better, but it's really hard to talk and do these recces, you know. And as fast as it ends, as quick as we head over to the live broadcasting system. So that's what our drivers are going to have to endure for 18 laps here in the Formula Indy Lights. And we're currently just watching Butler chill in the pit lane. And as you can see, he's set a 1:21.1. Which is quicker than what I could do in the free practice session whilst trying to film that lap. I know I can do faster than what I did, but still. But it looks like tonight the main challenge is, if they can keep up, will be Jay Skyring hoping to get a very good result here in Bella Isle. And these cars are quite fragile and they really do not like to touch the barrier. They will just immediately get damaged. We go round the last, well, technically I would call it the last 2 corners, but really it's the last 3. As we come up to the last corner just here. We love Detroit. It is an awesome circuit. It really is underrated. As Jay Skyring goes within 8 tenths of Butler, but it's whether Butler can do a 21.1 throughout the whole 18 laps and keep the tyre life going. That's down the long straight into what I think is going to be the main overtaking zone. Oh, and it's as easy as that. It's as easy as that, and hopefully Jay Skyring won't do that in the race. As we take a look at 66. The driver that's currently surprising me, if I'm honest with you, is Lloyd. Okay, he's not surprising me at all. He's doing exactly what I thought might happen. Oh, you could have timed that better. You really could have timed that better. Lloyd is not a fan of Formula cars, but he's seeming to be doing pretty well in the Formula Lights until he decided to try and climb the curb. Sport might be another one to also keep an eye out. I know that they've done a lot of practice this time around. Oh, and there's someone spinning off ahead. I'm not quite sure who that is. That's Vermovich being caught out by the bump of T6. And it is very easy. You don't want to be in too low a gear. That's the problem. You want to be in 3rd, ideally. 3rd or 2nd. But these Indy Lights do have very good slip. But I think we're going to be in for a pretty good race, really. Oh, and there goes Skyring again, lighting up the rear end. Not quite keeping the car under control. It's all about being smooth here at Belle Isle. And Jay will be getting annoyed now because he can do better. He was a lot more consistent in the free practice session, so he's probably just applying too much. Oh, there's Butler going sideways there. Noah Burge in chat says, thoughts on the F1 car releases today? I don't have any. I haven't seen it. I haven't had the time to look at them, sadly, Noah. I know that Williams has released pretty much exactly the same car by the looks of it. That's the only image I've really seen, to be honest. And Sobek, just even something like that little touch there will cause a big problem in today's race. Damage is going to be a thing. And there's Vermovich, and I think Lloyd is also off at the bottom of T3. So today's race is really for people like, I was going to say Mark Olsen, who's incredibly consistent, but whoever I seem to watch in a minute seems to be bidding it into the barrier and getting damage, and it's not what you want. So we take a look at Vermovich. Vermovich. So again, as long as you're fairly consistent, you don't have to be the quickest around here, but if you can keep your car clean and not get any damage, you're going to have a good time. But this is the thing with the Ultimate Sim Racer, it's meant to push anyone that enters, really meant to push their skills and qualities. Which comes over the line to end the free practice session, and now we are headed over to what will be 5 minutes of qualifying, and the drivers are going to just have to get out there. They've got to keep their laps clean, and a bit like Monaco, I can imagine that starting position is going to be quite vital. But we do have 3 drivers in the 121s, which is whether they can do that consistently. I think realistically a 122 lap time is going to be absolutely fine. Fabrice Letamy up into P4 there. So very good qualifying there for Fabrice Letamy. Is there an actual helicopter? No, it's just a standard. What sort of... Oh, that's a nice little camera angle. I haven't really seen what... Oh, that's another nice one. Splash and dash. Where's... That one's quite a nice one. Let's use that one tonight. Let's use that one. So here we go. I'm going to press F7 and we're going to go for a little joyride if I can get it to work. Here we go. All the drivers driving out here. Let's go up. Let's see what we can actually see of Bella Isle. Let's just wait here whilst we wait for the first lap time to come through. There's Mark Coulson. And there's Fabrice Ledemy as well. There we go, no driver names. You can see just a few more cars heading down into T3 here. Let's just head back over to... Don't think it's actually any quicker, is it? Oh, that's quicker. That is a lot quicker. That's what we want. And it looks like there goes our first driver, Jay Skyring. I believe it is. So Jay Skyring is off for their first flying lap of qualifying. Right behind him is our current championship leader, Butler. There's only 5 minutes on the board. Qualifying is going to be rather important. So they can score back in the pits, clearly not having the best of outlaps. So back and score might actually maybe trying to start towards the back of the grid, maybe. It could be a good idea. Oh, and Jay Skyring out breaks himself. Oh, that's going to be the kicker. So we go on board with Butler. Oh, that's quite good actually, doesn't it? This one. So we come around the final 3 corners here. Really close to the wall, using all the curb. And around the final corner, Butler comes to set a baseline of a 1:21.5. That's quicker than anyone else in free practice. Is 66. Might be the next to cross over the line. No, Burridge is the next crossover line for 1:24.3. Oh, and 66 is backed out here. So who is that there that's coming through? So here is Lloyd. Using all of the track there. It's what we like to see. It's sketchy, but when you nail your lap, it does feel good as Butler heads into the pit lane. Oh, riding the curve. That's quite dangerous, especially as the wall kicks out there. Not quite hitting the apex of these 2 corners, but it's looking nice. Could be a good lap here by Lloyd. Can move into P2. Or is this going to be his first flying lap? And into P2 he goes with a 1:23.1. So and there is a car at the bottom of the road, and that's Butler, probably trying to get out of the way. As Lloyd is coming through now, Jay Skyring is yet to set a lap time. And here is Jay now trying to do said lap time. 66 is also another car that is yet to get a time on the board and is slowed up before the start-finish line. So I reckon 66 is deliberately trying to start towards the back of the grid, trying not to get in anyone's way. He just wants to be he just wants to participate. He's not really that interested in winning. Vermovic moves into P2, 1.2 seconds behind Butler up in P1. It could be an interesting race. It could be a very quiet race, as in, you know, wide gaps between the two. As Ledemy moves into P4 in the yellow and black Indy light, and this will be the last lap for everybody. So Butler has finished. There is nothing more that Butler can do. Coulson is stopped and has pitted as well. Spall is pitted. Solbeck has pitted. Who is just crossing over the line? Lloyd's just crossed the line for no improvement. And I'm trying to see who else. Skyring moves into P2 for 1:21.9. So Vermovic, Vermovic has outbraked himself, so that's going to be pretty much a ruined lap time, I think. Where's Fabrice Lamy? Oh, and Fabrice. No, wait, that's not Fabrice Lamy. There's Fabrice Lamy. Heading to the Penske right-hander. Oh, really close to the barrier there. Oh, and into the barrier they go. They're going to lose time, but Lamy is the last driver to possibly gain anything out of qualifying here. Kicking out, really trying to get the power down early. Can Fabrice Lamy move up the leaderboard? No, they can't. They are in P5. So Butler is our P1 sitter for today's race. Jay Skyring sits P2. Vermovich in P3. Lloyd P4. Lettermy P5. Burridge P6. Coulson P7. Spool P8. Sobek P9 and 66. Starting at the back in P10. We seem to be missing Nolan as well, which is a shame. I think they missed the join in period. As we just head back to the studio whilst we wait for it to switch over. If you're enjoying the stream, please do make sure that you leave a like and subscribe. And if you wish to get involved in any of our events, P&R events, currently we're hosting them on the World Sim Series website, and all you have to do is check out the links in the description and on our YouTube channel. Best bet, join our Discord. I know that every single channel in the world says that to do so, but join our Discord and genuinely you'll receive the biggest updates, the quickest. You'll just know what happens there and then, because it's just easy for me to get info out there, especially with an 8-month-old boy who's currently trying to walk, which is fun and interesting and terrifying all at the same time. But hey, what are you gonna do? So here we go. Let's go trackside and wait for these 6 lights. We'll keep an eye on Jay Skyring, who has the outside line into T1. Butler has the inside there in the silver and blue. And quite honestly, I think this could be absolute carnage, but we'll find out, especially into T3. Hopefully they'll all be smart, all be brave. It's a long race. 18 laps of Belial is on the way in P&R round 3. Ultimate Sim Racer, there's our 6 lights. And off we pop for the 3rd time in this series. I need to figure out the better way of saying everything. But Jay Skyring's got a terrible start. Vermovich is going to take full advantage. Get down the inside of T1, but can't quite get it done at T3. All the cars need to be careful. And so far, everybody has made it through unscathed. I can see Letterman in the background, though. Currently, trying to hold off as many cars as possible as Jay Skyring. And Vermovich goes down the inside and collects Jay Skyring. And Burridge takes full advantage of that. And there goes Lloyd in the background as well. Currently, falling down the way. But Vermovich definitely went for a dive down the inside and didn't get the move finished, which has lost them P3 and probably damaged their car. The victor out of that is Burridge, who is on the attack early, and they have to be against Butler. They have to find the right overtaking zones. But Butler only needs half a lap and he will get away from them, so we need to get the pressure on Butler as soon as possible. Oh, as Jay Skyring's got a slightly tighter line into that right-hander. Burridge spinning up the rear wheels, and there you go. There's Butler slowly making their way, gaining 2 tenths in 2 corners. But what can Jay Skyring do as we hop on board, following Burridge, who currently sits in P2? It's hard to know when to overtake here. Burridge is a little bit all over the place in the defence, and it's really slowed up Jay Skyring on the exit, and you can see Vermovich in the rear mirror there. Who really did outbrake themselves into T3. I did say that was going to be the overtaking corner. Oh, and Burridge just hit the wall. And I think he's going to let Skyring go through. Oh no, he's still battling for it. Fair enough. And completely undercut done, and Burridge, I think, actually went into the wall there. and has fallen down into P4. Fabrice Lamy will be licking her lips here, but one driver that's basically going to be gone for the next 16 laps is our current race leader, Burridge, as Lloyd manages to get by Mark Coulson. And 66 has fallen right down the order there. So 66 hopefully hasn't really sustained any damage, but sadly is right down the back of the grid as we go back to Lloyd, who is now on the chase against Fabrice Lamy. And he's got a much better exit than Fabrice Lamy. Is he going to try and make the move early? He is. And that's him through. Lamy might have a little bit of damage as bonus sets of 122.2 to get the race started. Vermovic, oh, look at the oversteer there. Vermovic is also pushing to catch Jay Skyring up in P2. No love lost here between these two. It's all about consistency, keeping it going, keeping it tight. You can see Lamy and Lloyd. Lloyd is actually looking to maybe overtake Burridge. I think Burridge has got some heavy damage after coming out of T6, and Lloyd is so close to the wall there. And it's what you need to be doing. You need to be brave. And Fabrice Lamy has definitely got advantages in sector 1 and 2, but maybe not in sector 3, as Lloyd is going to be trying to find a way past Burridge, which is going to be hard to do with this part of the track. He needs to try and get a good run on him, just like he did for Fabrice Lamy into T1. Oh, and Burridge has hit the wall again, and so has Lloyd. Hopefully the damage will be minor. These cars are a little bit on the fragile side, and I think Burridge is really struggling keep their car going here, and I wouldn't be surprised if Lloyd does manage to get by into T1. In fact, no, I don't think he's going to. He's super close. Oh, and they touch. Burridge is gone. Fabrice Lamy has managed to get through. Oh, and there's cars everywhere. Lloyd has lost out. There we go. Lloyd doing the P&R thing of waiting for Burridge. I think Burridge has got quite a lot of damage, and sometimes you just got to let the faster car through, especially if you are damaged. There's no point battling a battle that you're really not going to be able to capitalise on. But the victor out of that is Fabrice Lamy, keeping their nose clean, getting the results in, getting the points up. Is what you need to be doing in this championship, as Mark Coulson is now on the rear end of Burridge, and right behind them is Sport. And soon to be right behind them is going to be Lloyd. So the midfield battle is quite a close one, as Burridge again is just taking a bit more damage. That car really is going to be a very unhappy chappy. Sport is looking to try and capitalise against Mark Coulson ahead of them. As Mark, maybe that's a bit of netcode there. I don't think he actually hit the wall. It's one in the background. Sobek has spun out. And is currently, it's probably sustained quite a lot of front nose damage. And it will be worth repairing, because you just don't know what's going to happen over the next 13 laps. We've still got plenty of the race to go. We just don't know what's going to happen as we head around T2. Oh, and there goes Sport, losing the rear end around T2. It happens. And Lloyd and 66 make their way through. And Lloyd is already quite close to the rear end of Mark Coulson. And Mark has gone slightly defensive back there as well. Is there another rear facing camera? Can't really see anything with that wing in the background, can you? Not really a great deal. You can see Lloyd in the background there, looking to maybe dive down the inside and gets the move done. Brilliant manoeuvre there by Lloyd. Not a lot Coulson can really do about that one. Next he's got to fend off 66. Oh, and Coulson's gone. The inside tyre was on the curb, and that's what can happen. Oh, and just causes himself massive damage as well in the process, I believe. So that's 66 up to P7 Lloyd, P6 Burridge is in P5, but this time around I think Lloyd is not going to hang about. He's going to go for it, force Burridge to give away the position, and away Lloyd will go. There's not a lot that I think Burridge can really do about it. He is the slower car through Sector 2 and Sector 3. And Burridge has gone late on the brakes there, but Lloyd has got it nicely covered off. And I think from here, you'll just see Lloyd pull away from Burridge, and Burridge gets more damage on that Indy light vehicle. And you can see locking up there, and 66 is going to get the easy pass there around Burridge. He's going to have the much better exit as Burridge falls down into P7. Oh, and Burridge does tag 66. A bit silly driving here by Burridge, really. He needs to learn when to accept defeat, really, and try and get the best result you can with the damage that you've got and not really inflict anyone else's race. Just needs to cool the head down a little bit. But 66 is now on the chase to Lloyd, and the chase is really on, actually, in all fairness. The gap is now half a second. I think Lloyd has had a pretty poor Sector 3 this time around. And yeah, the lap times are quite different. 8 tenths quicker that lap for 66, so Lloyd clearly have an issue. There's Fabrice letting me down in P4. Just going through, well, just gone through T3 up to T4 now. And 66 is having a look. But he knows that Lloyd will not hand the position easily. But we also know when 66 is in the zone, he is like an AI. He's just so consistent. And bearing in mind, 66, this is proof here that you should just keep going, because 66 did. Oh, he was back in the grid after lap 2. And we're now on lap 7. And 66 is looking to do the same thing to Lloyd that Lloyd did to Fabrice Letterme, I think. No, was it Noah? It might have been Noah. No, it was Fabrice Letterme, wasn't it, I think? And Lloyd, just driving the car a little bit too hard. Oh, and he runs wide, and 66 sees his opportunity, goes down the inside and gets the move done. Very opportunistic there by 66, but you've got to be around street circuits. And 66 is already pulling quite the nice gap from Lloyd in P6. So whether Lloyd has a tiny bit of front nose damage, it does look like it, actually. In fact, Lloyd looked a little bit uncomfortable there. So he might have to take a couple of corners a little bit slower. But Butler is our race leader as we almost reach the halfway mark. And it's been a pretty easy race for Butler so far. And you can just see he's pulled off a big enough gap now that you can just relax. Just, you know, drive the car nice and smoothly. Bring it home. And I think it says, like a boss, on the side of his Indy light car. Or just like boss. Or like a boss, yeah. And he is really kind of owning this race here. And Jay Skyring in P2 has just set a personal best of the race, and Lloyd has spun it around, I think that's T12, and it's fallen down into P8. So now Lloyd has got all that work to do again to get past Ball and Burridge, and just too much speed. Too much speed. There's going to be far too much front end damage now. That car's going to be very, very hard to drive. After just taking those corners a little bit too quickly, gonna have to chill a little bit more. But the thing is with Belle Isle and street circuits in general is that as long as you're smooth, you'll do all right. As we take a look at P2 Jay Skyring. Burridge just spun off as well now, so I think Lloyd will be able to get through fairly quickly. There we go. I think Burridge has now got even more damage than what they had previously. In fact, you can see the suspension's completely broken. I think if we go on board, yeah, the suspension's completely broke. Can't do much about the steering. Coulson having to avoid like mad. There's not a lot you can do about that. It is just completely broken. And this is why it's all about managing your car and really taking it easy around the street circuit. Being smooth. Vermovic has spun in P3. Where's Fabrice Lemy? There's Fabrice Lemy. So Lemy goes through into P3. And this is prime example of you don't have to be quick. Well, that's a bit harsh against Lemy. But you don't have to be fast. But you just need to be consistent. You need to just be clean. Don't battle too hard. And you'll get the results in. But whether Fabrice Lemy can hold on to P3 is another matter. I think Vermovic is the quicker driver out of the two of them. It just depends on how much damage Vermovic's Indy Light has. Gets it nice and stopped there. Fabrice Lemy doing a great job here. 9 seconds behind Jay Skyring. And Butler just starts the 11th lap of the race. Burridge is in the pits getting the repairs that they need. But you just don't know what's going to happen. You really don't know. Down one of the main straights we go. And I think, who is that? I think that might be Burridge actually. Just staying out of the way there. And to be fair, Fabrice Lemy driving style right now is coming into his own. He's pulled a bit of a gap here to Vermovic in P4, which would be great news. But one driver that is slowly catching is 66. And I don't think it'll be too long before 66 is on the rear end of Vermovic. And as I would say, each week we have the Ultimate Sim race that the races are meant to get harder. Fair enough, there might be a couple more that are a little bit easier for some people, but they are meant to get harder and harder and harder. The cars get faster and faster. The circuits should get more technical and more technical. And that's how we find out the P&R Ultimate Sim Racer for that season, as Vermovic does hit the wall again, and the gap is now under a second for 66. As we head, well, I say head to start there. 13th, 12th lap of the race, sorry. Oh, Vermovic is into the wall. And I think 66 has got the much better drive out of the corner. Vermovic might try to get the position back. He's looking down the inside. He's gone for it. He's not got the job done. And he definitely needs to just be a little bit more careful with their overtaking. There's a bit of a lunge. And you can only do what your car can do at the end of the day. If you don't look after it, it's not going to look after you. And there you go, prime example. It's exactly the same thing with Wham to Burridge. You just push and push and push. And the car just gets more and more damaged, and you can do less and less and less to compete. And it's all about knowing what your car can actually do. And sometimes it's safer to just concede a position and see what happens throughout the race than to try and battle on through. Worst car you've driven in Assetto is a great car. It's a great car, the Indy Lights. It's a really nice balance of basic aero and torque. It's a really, really good car. That's the field now is quite nicely spread. Sobek is still plugging away back there in 9th position. And slowly but surely catching up to Mark Coulson. Go. And you can see the gap's now gone from 3.5 seconds to 2.7, and you can see just why. 1.5 seconds quicker that time around for Sobek. Oh, keep on the track. Well done, Sobek. And the rest of the field are all starting to nicely spread out a little bit here. So we'll take a look at the race leader, which is Butler, as we go on board. See that his delta on the steering wheel there is 1.2 seconds slower, but he's got 10 seconds to play with here. It's really nicely done here by Butler. Just nice, smooth throttle inputs. The whole shebang. There's the bump. There it is. Sometimes it's just nice to watch someone at work, really, and it doesn't need any random horrible voice talking over the top of it. Oh, missed the apex a little bit there. We'll hold that against him. But he's gaining time on Jay Skyring, who is 2 seconds off their best delta right now. But I tell you what, there is a car sitting in P4 right now who is slowly but surely gaining on Fabrice Lemy with 3 laps to go. And there is Fabrice Lemy just ahead. Can 66 pull off a podium? I think Fabrice Lemy might defend this one a little bit harder now. This close to the end of the race. Both just done a 1:22.4. So clearly not a slow car. There goes 66. Notice how they're not pushing to the wall so much now. They are taking it a lot easier. But 66 in sector 1 has got the gap down quite a bit. So they're driving smoothly, but they are also rather quick at the minute, coming towards the end. And Coulson and Sobek have had a collision by the looks of it. Oh, and who's in the fence? That's Mark. Mark is in the fence. He's going to be teleported to pits. It's off the circuit currently. That's a new one. Mark Coulson is out of the map. Back into the pits he goes, and now he's going to have locked controls for a whole lap. So I got a funny feeling something's happened on lap 16. We need to remember that. Lap 16, Mark Coulson with Sobek. Sobek continues on. So I'm guessing they were having a jostle or something like that. I think it's Sobek trying to wait, but the thing is, though, Mark's going to be a lap down now. So we head back towards 66 on the charge against Letterme in P3. The catch fencing not high enough for Mark Coulson, clearly. Right on the gearbox of Fabrice Lamy in P3. And Butler started their final lap of the race. White flag is out. Now whether 66 can get anything done if something comes again, but the gap is down to 8 tenths. As Burridge has got past Mark Coulson as well. Whether 66 wants to really test Fabrice out, but too far behind going into T3. But we'll see about T7 and 8. But Butler must be coming towards the end of the race. He's not far off. As Butler comes around the final 3 corners to take another victory here in the Pretty Ninja Ultimate Sim Racer to extend his lead in the championship. Butler takes round 3 here at Detroit Belle Isle with an absolute flawless performance. And we can see if we head back to P4. They are pushing, but Jay Skyring is coming round the second to last corner here. And you can see in the background, it looks like Fabrice Lemy's just got about hold on. There goes Skyring over the timeline to finish P2. Fabrice Lemy holds on to finish his P3. 66 with a very good comeback drive to take P4. Vimovic will be taking P5 as long as they don't smash it into the wall. Pending possible penalty for the carnage at lap 1. I believe it was Vimovic, but we will find out. Sobek and Burridge are finished 8th and 9th. And over timeline they come 5th. And that's Coulson behind in 10th. And here comes Spall to take over the line in P6. Where is Lloyd? Lloyd's name's not here for some reason. Don't know why. And here is Lloyd. Just going to manually click in there instead. And there goes Lloyd over the timing line to take P7. That's fine, know it. That's not a problem. But it won't be the last time we use this car at all. Because there's nothing wrong with the car. It's always the driver. It's always the driver. There's nothing wrong with the car. So, let's take a wee look at what happened into T1 at Belle Isle. Can I actually watch it, please? Please, I want to watch it. And we are at go down to T3, turn on the names. Drive names are on. Here we go. And you can hear the cars coming. Mole said I may not have got a podium, but I really enjoyed that one. That's good. It's good. It's very challenging. That's the whole point in the Ultimate Sim Race there. It's meant to be challenging. Here we go into T3. Obviously, I know I'm still in the studio view at a minute. Oh, and Fjomovic just going for a silly dive on Butler, in fact. Yeah, that was never going to work in a month for Sundays, really. And, yeah, that's definitely... Well, let's just see. Butler got away unscathed, luckily. No, it's only... Well, I say it's the one car. Jay Skyring had to avoid. Jay Skyring had to avoid. Burridge had to avoid. And everyone makes their way through that. But yeah, bit of a crazy drive here. Bit of a crazy dive there by Verbovic. Yeah, that's not cool, really. There's a couple of times he tried that manoeuvre and it was never going to work from that far back. He's not alongside Butler. He hits Butler. So that'll be easily a 5-second penalty. It would be more if more cars got involved. In fact, because of the recklessness of it, I'm actually tempted to go for 10. Yeah, I'm going to go for 10. Purely because of the recklessness of it. It was just not needed. Late on the brakes. You can see, well, if I go back far enough, you can see the smoke tyres lock up. Trying to go for a gap that's just not going to be there. So I'm going to go with a 10 there. But how did you end up outside of the track? I can show you how he ended up outside of the track. There is Mark Coulson. So let's go Mark Coulson. Well, let's go Sobek, in fact. Let's go TV camera if we can. And we just want to fast forward just a little bit. Don't know what lap this is, but I believe it is this one. That is a 5-second penalty. I'm going to agree with Mark on that one. But what I don't get, a bit like what Sobek is saying in chat, I don't quite get how this happens. No way! What the fuck is this? Oh my days! Oh, that's one of the funniest self-conflicted things I've ever seen. Fucking Spider-Man over here. That's hilarious. Oh. But yeah, definite 5-second penalty to Sobek there for causing the collision. Just not slowing down enough behind Coulson, who I believe probably had a little bit of damage there. So yeah, it's definitely a 5-second penalty to Sobek. But that was basically the main ones that I saw, really. I know Lloyd and Burridge had a moment, but in all fairness, oh, this is quite a clever bit of driving here by Coulson. So Burridge rejoins the circuit. Lloyd has stopped on the racing line, which is a bit stupid. Good reactions there by Coulson. But yeah, maybe don't stop on the racing line next time. But good reactions there by Collie. So, yep, so that'll be a 5-second one to penalty and 10 for Vermovic for just the recklessness of it, really. It's just not needed. And we'll watch it from Collie's view, actually. It's a really nice little view going into it. Ooh, almost gets around the outside of Lloyd there, like that. I think Fabrice's view will be a little bit better. Just see, yeah, it's just unnecessary. Oh, a little bit of a bump there. I'm going to guess that's Lloyd. Yeah, a little bit of a bump there. Oh, yeah. Bit of a collision. No one really died apart from Lloyd. You can see in the background there, all looking fairly tidy. You know what, though? I think you guys did really well compared to what happened at Norris Ring. I think you guys did pretty well there. Not gonna lie. I think you guys did pretty well. I was lucky to end up in P2 after that crash somehow. Yeah, you did very well in all fairness, know it? I think the only thing that people need to learn after that I've noticed in this race is knowing when not to battle. That's the one skill that I think a few people need to learn. I think there might be someone still in the lobby or not. Driver reports are open, so I can give penalties right now. So we'll just do that. Vermovic is getting a 10-second penalty. Okay, create a penalty. Race time 10 seconds. Avoidable contact. Lap 1, turn 3. Careless. Dive down the inside, causing a crash when there was no need. Yeah, at the end of the day, I could understand if it was a one lap, shootout, but it's 18 laps. Causing a crash when there was no need, so 10-second penalty. That's kind of the overall rule now. Is if you cause an accident from behind and cause a collision, it's going to be 10 seconds whether you like it or not. Penalty for Sobek, race time 5 seconds. He knows why. Avoidable contact. Just watch out for speed changes for the car in front. It's up to the car behind not to cause a crash. Obviously, it would be different. I'll just say this now. It would be different if Coulson slammed on the brakes, for example, right? So if he's mid-corner, slams on the brakes and basically brake checks him, it's really easy to notice that, but that isn't the case. You can just clearly see that Collie was a very slow car because of damage and was trying to get around the corner. But if Collie brake checked them, obviously this wouldn't be a 5-second penalty, and in all fairness, it would be on Collie to apologise, really, for that. But that's not what happened. So we have two non-starters here of A. Gray and C. Nolan. And yeah, sadly, Coulson did lose a whole lap time there due to the incident at the end of the race with Sobek. But Collie was the one that said 5 seconds. So we'll go with that. Usually it'd be 10, but Collie only wants to give 5. So we will go with that. I think that is fair to say. So let's approve these off and take a look at the standings. There we go, ladies and gents. Ooh, interesting. I really need to sort out buttons. Right, here we go. So Butler leads the way with 86 points after 3 races. Still 5 more to go. So plenty of the season left. Jay Skyrim moves into P2 with 66 points. Burridge in P3 with 50. 2 points behind is Ollie Smith and also Spool in joint P4. So racking up the points there just goes to show you just need to be consistent and finish relatively high to get those points in. Pindalier didn't race this evening. Coulson sadly finishing at the back is on 36, if I'm reading this correctly. Yeah, 36 points. Fabrice Ledemy in P8 with 35. Vermovic in P9 with 30 after 2 races. And Sobek rounds off the top 10. Lloyd getting 28 points after 2 races, and 66 getting 20 points in Ultimate Sim Racer Season 3 debut. But to be fair, I don't think we will see a great deal of 66 because he's a very, 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 very busy man. Next up for the Ultimate Sim Racer is Goodwood. We're at Goodwood. And we are in the Mini Cooper Challenge. Now, if you don't know, I'm going to say this already. Jamski will be all over this. That's Lloyd. Will be all over this. So make sure you can get signed up now. The password is in the Discord. And you can sign up today. And there's already 3 people that signed up. There you go. Lloyd straight in there. And in fact, I wouldn't be surprised if a couple of drivers are going to be practicing. But this weekend is going to be one of the toughest races Pretty Ninja Racing has ever put forward. It's the Formula 3 Championship and it's in Macau, China, which is going to be a very, very tricky race. How many drivers have we got signed up? 7. I'm not surprised that we don't have as many as we usually would for this one because it's going to be very, very difficult. I suggest if you do want to get involved, you need to get the practice in, dial in your setup, because if you get any damage, it's pretty much done for. And Butler somehow got a 2:10. So this Sunday we will be in the Formula RSS Formula 3 Championship Round 4 in Macau, China. So make sure you tune in for that one. Make sure you like and subscribe to keep informed. And next Monday in 1 week's time will be the Mini Cooper Cup Challenge at Goodwood, Great Britain, which will be amazing. I cannot wait for next Monday. This is going to be genuinely such a good race. 18 minutes of pure Mini Cooper madness at Goodwood. It's going to be amazing. I hope you enjoyed yourself this evening. I certainly have. It's been an absolute pleasure. My name has been Andi. I've been your host. And I will catch you in the next one. I'll probably be streaming on Wednesday, depending on what we're doing. It will probably be some AMS2 shenanigans yet again. And I'll try and stream from my perspective. So if you want to get involved, just hit me up in the Discord. You're more than welcome to join us. But until next time, see you later. 18 laps, not minutes. Race length, 18 minutes. 18 minutes of Goodwood. 18 minutes of Goodwood. Bye.